Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode, or episode 0, I should say, of Swimming Through Current Events with myself, Kiri Smith, and my good buddy, Micah Walker. This is just a quick forward to it, because we recorded this back on, I think, like, October 9th, 10th, 11th, something like that. I don't remember the exact date. I have to check files. But we recorded it. We put it to our mics. I got home, took the mics, and then I had to sync them. It was a bit of pain in the butt. I finally got them all synced. This is kind of a first test run, so it's a bit long. It's also a bit like we're kind of trying to make things work. We'll have things more nailed down. We didn't even have the name of the podcast when we were doing it, so we didn't even mention it. But I just wanted to give you the quick forward. It's a little awkward. There's just not great pacing. We'll hopefully improve on that in the future. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming in. Hope you enjoy. Yep, and then the light turns red, and it tells me it's recording over here. They're out of sync, but we'll sync them up. I'm trying to think where to put it. I think I'm just going to stick it right here. There we go. Seems relatively reasonable. It's kind of funny. It's like folding itself forward.
All right. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now they've been synced.
Yeah. They are picking up each other's. So.
No, I know, but I'm saying now we know. You know where in the video they
how to
connecting.
line them correctly.
Yeah. And then just...
All right.
Booyah.
So did you read all the main topics, right?
No. I'm ready for you to give them to me, and we can talk about them as we go. But I don't know how we're doing an intro. What are we even calling this thing?
I don't know. We never decided what we were going to call this. I don't even know if I'm going to leave this in. We might just... Welcome to the cold open.
Welcome to the cold open?
No, like, just like...
What is a cold open?
Like, you haven't really prepared them. It's just you're straight into...
Oh, is that what it means? This whole time, I had no idea.
I'm fairly confident that's what it means.
Okay.
You should have listened to Haunted Cosmos enough to figure that out by now.
I had no idea.
They always talk about... That's going to be fun. They always talk about the I think that's a cold open. I think it's like it doesn't have context yet or something. I don't know. Either way.
There's a name for a podcast. Cold Open.
Yeah, I don't know what do we call this. Like, it's got to be something that doesn't exist yet, because otherwise, like, that would be awkward.
The nightmares.
What?
I was pointing at the hazelnuts. I was like, nightmare.
That sounds more like something else that we
should
be
talking
about.
I was like, never mind. 2 guys and a harp. I'll put this down here.
Mike has invented a new disease, harpies.
No. That's a type of bird with a face of a woman.
What?
A harpy. That's a type of bird.
Oh, it's actually a thing. Okay.
It's not a real bird, but it's a bird. It's a mythical bird with a face of a woman.
It's a mythical bird.
Mythical bird with the face of a woman.
Caw-caw.
Caw-caw.
Ooh la la.
All right. Let's get serious.
We don't have to call it anything yet. We can always decide that later and just be like, here's the show. Welcome. Well, I guess let's go with what I wrote. Welcome, everyone, to episode 0. You may... If you're hearing this, congratulations. It got uploaded. If you're not, well, it was a test run. And it will be purely for our own entertainment.
I'm not wasting my time with this. This is getting uploaded.
I can't tell whether you're serious or not.
Why would we do something that we're not going to upload?
Practice?
Yeah.
Does this actually work?
Ah, gotcha. Let's see.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to stop you.
I kind of wrote in my notes here, this episode is mainly to test and evaluate what we can and cannot do and decide what changes we should make in our format. So it's not like, that's why I call it episode 0. It's like, we know what we want. That's why I called Tism Talks episode 0 as well. It's like, we know what we want to do. We kind of understand, but we don't necessarily have everything fleshed out yet. So it's just kind of we're going to play it by ear a little bit. So, do you have something you want to bring us into? Basically, the podcast is going to be us talking about current events or recent events. We'll get.
I don't have anything.
Don't have a verse or something you want to start us with, or
no, not at the moment.
All right. Well,
all right, guys. Today we're going to start with a quick reading of Psalm 119.
Oh gosh. Quick, maybe the entire podcast, but
it's only 150 verses.
Add one more verse and it'll be the number. It'll be Gen 1.
What?
Pokemon Generation 1 had 151 Pokemon. It was originally 150, and then they.
You know what's funny? There's 150 versus 150 Psalms.
Hey. All right. Anyways, well, I guess we can go. We can just. Actually, do you want to open us up in prayer, Micah?
Sure. All right, Kira, you pray.
Don't dump it off on me when I said, "Do you want to pray?"
Yeah, you were saying, "Do I want to pray?" Yeah, I want to pray. Kira, all right, go ahead.
Why? Why are we like this?
Why do you not want to pray?
Because I was like, "Do you want to open us up in prayer?" That's an indication of.
I was like, "Yeah, we should open up in prayer." Go ahead, Kira.
Fine. Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Lord, as we go to talk about this and work on this podcast, Lord, I pray that you would give us wisdom to speak the words that should be spoken, to be quiet on the things we shouldn't be talking about, and to keep us on track, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Excuse me. I'm probably going to cough a lot. So I wrote this, the first topic, as the elephant in the room of recent events. I don't think I need to explain what that might be.
Probably do. Go ahead.
Monsieur Charlie Kirk and his assassination last month.
Okay, gotcha.
I just so let's just give some quick thoughts, each of us, on that.
Okay, you go first.
I remember.
What particularly are we talking about with it? Just the fact that it happened?
In general, the things that have been going around, that what we've seen come out of that. We'll get to the points. Yeah, I remember the events that transpired, because it was like 10 or 15 minutes after it physically happened in real life. I remember seeing something about it, and I was like, "Oh, that's insane." And then you texted me about it, like, "Did you hear Charlie Kirk got shot?" Which I thought really put into perspective how insane this was, because you never ever text about like something that just happened. So that immediately put in my mind.
You're usually the one that tells me when anything happens.
Exactly. So I'm like, okay, so now we're in a situation where this is actually like a big deal,
Yeah.
Like, I already knew it was a big deal just by the fact, someone got shot, and I've heard of this person before, I've seen their content, but like, when someone else just messages me that normally never messages me, specifically you, when you message me and be like, "Hey, did you hear about this?"
Just to clarify for everyone listening, I do message Kiri on a regular basis. I just don't.
We message each other quite a lot.
Yes, I just don't watch politics or any kind of news, and so when I'm messaging him something that's going on in the news, he's
pretty
like,
significant.
"What's going on?"
It's kind of alarm bells. Yeah, that was a bit of a day, because there wasn't a whole lot going on at work, so I could just kind of sit on social media and see what everyone was saying, which was a blessing and a curse, because it meant that I could keep up to like the minute of events and things going on and information. At the same time, I could keep up that fast with information.
Yeah.
So it's like not the greatest of things. Anyways, so the first question I have written here, and I think we've talked about this, but we're going to talk about it again. Was Charlie Kirk a political martyr or a Christian martyr?
Christian martyr.
Cool. Why?
Why? Was John the Baptist a political martyr or a Christian martyr?
I don't remember if we've talked about that specific point, but that is actually a very good point.
Yeah, I got it from Mike Winger, so.
That figures. All things lead back to the wingling.
No.
Anyway.
No. Just that one. It was a very good point. Like, why did John the Baptist die? Why was he killed?
Because I remember this from Mike Winger now.
Yeah.
Because he was telling
saying,
them, hey, you can't do this because it's sin.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
Yeah, he wasn't specifically talking about the gospel, but he was telling him something that was wrong, that he shouldn't be doing.
And that was my excuse when I was talking about this with my dad yesterday, just talking about things for this podcast. That was what I told him in other words, was basically, yeah, he was a Christian martyr. He was both. Was both.
Jesus a political martyr or a Christian martyr?
I feel that's...
Was he? Was he killed because he was political? Was it because he was the Christ?
Yes.
Yes. That's correct. Like, they killed him because he didn't match the way they wanted him to look, and also they were afraid of what he meant.
Yeah.
So is Charlie Kirk a political or a Christian martyr? Yes.
Both.
Yeah.
Because his Christian faith...
Is he like Christ? Well, a lot of people have been getting on to other people for comparing like his death and saying, he died like this and so did Christ. I think that honestly, that's not a bad thing. If I die, I want my death to be in similar comparison to Christ as well, because Jesus says to imitate, to be like Christ. Yeah, you like my
Sorry, I couldn't help
my washer is, if anyone can't hear that's listening, my washer sings when it goes off.
Be quiet. I want to see if it actually does come up on the levels. I think it's just a very little bit. But
that's
yeah.
Okay.
So,
but yeah, no, it's like they died and were killed. Like Paul says to imitate him as he imitates Christ, and we're supposed to strive to be like Christ.
Yeah.
So
he was killed. He was killed for his faith because his faith is what gave him the foundation for everything else. Yeah. So if he was a political martyr, he's a Christian martyr because being in Christ is where his political life views came from in the first place.
Yeah. It's different than if like Biden was killed. That would be a political martyr. And it would still be a horrendous one.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And we'll get to a topic similar to that in a little bit.
Yeah. Like the Democrats who were killed before, that was a political killing, and that was a horrible thing.
Yes.
That was a horrible thing.
Okay, so we established he's a Christian martyr. For each of us, excuse me, what good things and what bad things, both of those words being in air quotes, have we seen come from the shooting, from his assassination a month ago?
Okay, what do you want? What do you think?
I've seen some. I mean, obviously, there's everyone who is online posting and being like, "Yeah, he's dead," whatever, like celebrating it, which was like awful. And a lot of those people, you may or may not have known that they would do such a thing. On the good side of things, there's a lot of people who have been emboldened in their faith because of that event. And there's a lot of people who've come to Christ because of that event. So there's good, there's bad, there's always going to be. At least in this world. Why are you handing me this?
I wasn't. I was just moving it out of the way from these things so we wouldn't forget it.
So you guys can't see, he was messing with a windsock for one of the mics we're using. Apparently it's broken. It doesn't stay on the microphone.
Yes.
But anyways, yeah. Maybe it'll jog my memory in a minute. But what good and what bad have you seen come out of it?
What good and what bad? Let's see. I've seen a lot of good come from it, and a lot of good that came from the bad.
I'm interested in what that particular means.
What would you consider to be the bad?
Well, I consider like bad things that we've seen come from it would be like people who are more emboldened to do similar things, or people calling for similar things to happen, or like.
But what I'd say is a lot of good has come from that because it's woken up a lot of people to what's really going on.
Probably not as many as you think.
No, there's a lot more than you'd think. That see, what's the problem with our day and age and our current time period that we live in is it's very loud. In a sense that it's like on social media, the quietest whisper can be incredibly loud, right?
That is very true.
And so the people are seeing it. Like attendance in churches since Charlie Kirk has died has skyrocketed.
Absolutely. Even in our own church.
Even in our own church, it's skyrocketed. But everywhere, it's skyrocketing. Even at Catholic churches and Mormon churches, like all of them, all of their attendances, like even these other ones that we don't agree with, all of their attendances are skyrocketing because people see evil and say, there's got to be something better than that. And if something's this evil, then there's got to be something truly that is good. And they're looking into Christ in any way that they can possibly try to find him.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of good that's coming from the evil. Now, does that mean that the evil is therefore good? No. It's not good at all. But I think we're seeing a lot of good come because of the evil, because people are seeing so much evil that their reaction is to go, what is that? It's like when you accidentally touch an electric fence, right? Are you going to touch that thing again?
I would hope not.
Possibly, you might, but
not intentionally.
Maybe not. But like, if you look at it and you're jumping fences, and you see that one, you're like, oh, it's just like every other fence, and you grab on, and then you go, ow, and you let go, and you're like, that hurt, and you're gonna not jump over that thing. You're gonna try to find another way, right?
I like how you accidentally just explained how electric fences work in general. In the middle of all of this.
I mean, what they did is they saw this thing, and it looked like it looked like all the other fences, and they were like, oh, good, this is just like us. And then they were like, oh, this one's even better. And then they touched it, and it hurt. They touched this group that they thought was good. They thought it was right. It said it was love. And then when they touched it, they were hurt. And they looked at it, and they were like, this thing is bad,
Yeah.
So, there's other good metaphors you can use with electric fences too, but I'm gonna stick with the bad one because Jesus used yeast in a good way and a bad way. So I figure you can use an electric fence in a good analogy and a bad analogy.
To be fair, you could use an electric fence for good and bad.
Exactly, so that's my point.
You could keep people in, or you could that went there for my
keep people out. Yeah.
That's not what I said, but sure, we'll go with that.
All right.
But yeah, there's been, on social media, there's been a lot of people who saw the stuff that happened and went, yeah, we need to turn from this. There's been kind of that divide that keeps growing is continuing to grow wider, I've noticed.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot more people go, wow, with this much evil, I can't believe I've been on these people's side.
Yeah.
So I think there's good that's come from the evil. Now, as far as the good that's come from it, I mean, church attendance is at its high.
Yeah, we're just talking about
talking about that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think it was 2 weeks after, or 2 Sundays after, I was doing media for the church, and I think it was our third service. I remember, I don't, we have the kind of like our version of the altar call.
Yeah.
Which is basically like, the way we do it is basically everyone just bows their head. They're not looking around because the idea is you kind of want to keep everyone anonymous in a way. So he's like, if you want to give your life to Christ, basically raise your hand. And that was the most number I have ever heard at one time. I was like 12. That doesn't sound like a lot, but when usually it's like 3 or 4 at the most.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. It is quite a bit. And the heaven dances and praises the God and celebrates when even one So 14 is quite a bit.
Or however many. Yeah, it was, I just to clarify, the reason I know is because every time a hand gets raised, our pastor goes, thank you. So he can't, I can count the number of times he says that to count the hands.
Yeah,
basically.
and we know he's being genuine because sometimes he'll just stand there and he'll look around and doesn't say anything. No one raise their hand.
Does anyone want to raise their hand? Anyone?
No, he doesn't even ask that. He just looks around. He's like, well, okay, and then continues on. So he doesn't do it as like a showy thing.
It varies week to week.
He just wants the people that raise their hands to know that he acknowledges the fact and that they have been seen. But yeah, no, there was a lot. We had like 400 people that service. We had close to Easter attendance.
You're talking about three. That was third service.
Yeah,
right?
I know. I'm talking about second service. So we had like 400 people. There were people that had to sit in the lobby.
Parking lot was, dude. The parking lots are still stuffed.
Yeah.
Because like the lot where you and I used to park, it's full.
I still park there.
I don't. I usually get up too late, so I just drive straight into the main lot.
Gotcha.
Because it's like a shorter walk, save myself some time. But no, the other lot that we're allowed to use, that you and I have used.
Yeah, I use that one.
It went from being like there's a few cars
there
to just no space.
Yeah.
Like I was going to park there Sunday, and I drove past it, and I was like, there's not really anywhere to park. I'm just going to go to the main lot.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. But yeah, no, church attendance and Bible purchases is at a all-time high.
It's really funny you mentioned that because now that I think about it, when I ordered the Bible for Israel, it was during the same time period. It was literally 3 days after that.
Yeah, the Bible purchases have been at an all-time high because of what's happened. Because people just want to get their hands on truth, and they've heard this is truth, and so they want to look into it. So I think that's a lot of good. Now, what my prayer is that people don't be the second. Don't be the kind that landed on the rocks. My prayer is that they're not seeds that lands on the rocks. My prayer is that they get themselves grounded and they don't grow up, but then when troubles and trials come, they die away.
Yeah.
You know, in the parable of the sower and the seeds, there's one who there's some seed that lands on the path. There's some seed that lands in the weeds. There's some seed that lands on the rocks. And there's some seeds that land on the good soil. And the path is the ones that don't even get it. They get seed landed on them, and the birds come and they eat it. He says this
doesn't even sprout. It's just like
he says this is people that hear the word, but then the devil comes and steals it before it can even slightly plant. He says the one that lands on the rocky ground grows up fast. Like grows up really fast.
When trouble comes, it has no root and just.
But because it's the sun beats at it. And in this case, it's the trials and troubles and struggles of the Christian life and the Christian walk, because you have an enemy now, which you already had him, but now he sees you and is angry because you chose for Christ, and he's now like, okay.
Yeah, because when you're not to interrupt, but like when you're not walking with Christ, you're in His domain.
Yeah.
But what does He care? You're already not walking with Christ. That's all He cares about, pretty much.
Yeah, it's like
so the moment you become. You start following Christ, His objective is, okay, now you're walking with Christ, now I need to attack you because you're against me.
Exactly. It's like when you're underneath a dictator that everybody likes. He's trying to take care of everybody else because he wants to be a ruler over everybody. But the moment you say, wait a minute, I don't like what this guy's doing, he all of a sudden goes, okay, we need to kill this person.
Another proof that Trump is not a dictator. That's gonna ignite some fires.
Anyways, yeah. So my prayer is that they grow and they don't just let the trials and the struggles and stuff beat at them and take them away. And the other one was the weeds, and I pray that that's not what they end up as either, because those are the people that, upon hearing the word, they start to grow up. But as they grow up, the pride of life, the cares of this world distract them and choke out the word that they have just heard.
As someone who struggles with that, yes, I know.
Yeah. So my prayer is that they're the good soil, which hears the word and upon hearing it acts to what they hear. So that's some good and that's some bad.
Yeah. So this is kind of an interesting, moving on a little bit, if that's all right.
Yeah.
This is kind of an interesting one I saw, and I kind of wanted to see how you thought about this. I saw it mentioned on Twitter by a couple people that Charlie Kirk's assassination was kind of like a 9/11 of our generation.
Mm-hmm.
Or it felt like it in the sense that
I said that the day it happened.
Like you hit the wall of like, you can't ever go back. You know something's changed and it'll never be the same again, basically.
Yeah. I said that the day it happened.
Really?
Yeah, I said it's not 9/11 in scale, but it's 9/11 in that a lot of people are probably going to be able to say where they were the day that Charlie Kirk was shot.
That's a fair point. But yeah,
where were you when Charlie Kirk?
You're right. It's not the scale. Absolutely not. If you really wanted to play the game of comparing
how
tragedies,
often do we get to see someone shot on our screen?
Ooh, especially
past couple years, more than we should have.
Yeah.
Like with that whole Israel October 7th thing, where they live streamed a ton of their brutality.
I think that's the difference between 9/11 and now, because 9/11, the only footage you ever saw of it was very far distance, a plane hitting a building with and you don't really see the people. There's footage that's come out now that you can see some things, but you know, like people jumping from the building, but like you don't. It's still far away. It's still indiscriminate. You can't make out the people.
And even seeing the people jumping out of the building, while that's still a horrible thing to see, you don't see them hit the ground.
In most footage, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, and nowadays there's so many cameras everywhere. There's always, you have the ability to see things you don't really want to. For context, when we talk about Charlie Kirk's assassination, Micah and I have both seen footage that I legitimately think we should never have seen.
At the same time, it's good that we saw it.
Yeah, basically we saw
because we can now minister to people that have seen it too.
That's true. But the footage we saw is the footage of like the close-up footage. You can see Charlie's face. You can see it very clearly. You hear the gunshot, and you see basically the river of blood flowing from his neck as he falls back. Like, that's a vivid image. That's almost like it's one of those images that kind of just weaves into your brain and just kind of writes itself there. Like, you can't really forget it, even if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I'd reckon that'd be that way with anybody. Yeah.
I feel like you wouldn't be human if that was the case.
No, I mean, even if they say they don't, they do. Like there's things that just grind themselves into your brain, and anyone getting shot like that, any kind of seeing something like that, I think we have a lot of insensitivity built because of modern TV.
Modern TV, and also probably the fact that, again, we've seen all this a lot.
But I'm saying, like, a lot of modern shows and movies have, like, a lot of people watching, like, rated R stuff where they see that kind of stuff. And for them, it's just makeup and all this other stuff. But you're physically seeing this type of thing. Even though it's all special effects, your brain shouldn't be seeing all of this. And so now they've seen it, and I think that's part of why we see so much celebration and so many people acting like, oh, whatever, is they've trained their brains by watching all this other horrible stuff. And they've gone, okay, well, so when this actually horrible thing happens, to them it's like, okay, we've seen this before.
Yeah. And again, I think, yeah, the TV definitely does that. I do think the current like kind of what we can see is also part of that. Like, you know, because again, you were talking about October 7th. Mm-hmm. Which again we're going to get to some of that coincidentally, but yeah, we're able to see closer than I think we've ever been able to. Because back in the day, like you go back to World War II, the only people who ever saw the atrocities of World War II, unless you got footage from the war front, which again was at distance,
yeah,
or aftermath,
yeah.
There's
a reason so many people got PTSD.
Yeah, because they were on the forefront. Nowadays, you have the ability to, live from anywhere, see basically anything. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of scary in the sense of you have opened a door to more people to see more atrocity that shouldn't have the ability to see said atrocities.
And then there's to an extent, but like, I feel like we have... There's also a level of like, when is it too weak of like, yes, we shouldn't see these atrocities, but at the same time, like, people have seen them throughout history. Like,
Yeah.
let's look at the book of Samuel, right? When Saul gets rejected by God, it's because he didn't kill all the Amalekites. And what did Samuel do? He grabbed a sword and slashed the king to pieces. That was probably a pretty gruesome sight, right?
Yeah.
But it was something that actually it did need to be done because that's what God commanded. And a lot of people will probably hate this part of the podcast for sure. But that's what needed to be done because of the evil that had been done. It's like if you leave a disease, like if you leave cancer alone, it will spread and it will kill you.
Let me be abundantly clear. We're not talking about, hey, do this for the modern political sphere.
No.
Not in the slightest.
No, but I'm saying, like, everybody has this mindset of, like, we see bad things and it's going to cause these bad things. I think what the problem isn't the fact that we're seeing these things. It's the fact that we have been so comfortable. And we've spent so much time when we see these things, it being fake, that now that we see something real, we don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I agree about the desensitization. Because again, at the same time, even I'm desensitized, and I'll say it because I know for a fact I saw that footage that we were just talking about from Charlie Kirk's shooting. And yeah, it's gruesome, yeah, it's that. But it wasn't like gruesome in the sense of I need to go to the bathroom and barf, which is probably what, in any other case, I probably should have thought. Because of how bad that is. Instead, I was just able to take it and just kind of sit there and think about it, which was a bit weird now that I think about it.
Yeah, and we should... The problem is we should get that. And yeah, it should be evil, but, like, we as a people don't know what to do with stuff that makes us uncomfortable. We don't know. Like, our root isn't in Christ. It's in comfortability in this nation, and oftentimes in church too. And it's in its comfort, in its comfortability. We don't know what to do when we have struggles. We don't know what to do when we have trials. When we see someone get brutally murdered, right? Our reaction should be to pray for those people. Our reaction should be to call upon the name of Jesus for everyone that was involved. And a lot of us, our reaction was to, like, say we would be praying, but not necessarily actually be praying.
And adding on to that, I think it's interesting, because I remember the day of the shooting, as things were going down, as we didn't know the situations, there was, in the U.S. Congress, someone asked for a moment of silence and prayer for Charlie Kirk, and you had basically a political divide of, hey, we don't want this. And it became kind of a shouting match. And, like you say, that's how we should be reacting. And there will be pushback against that.
Yeah.
But we should still do it.
And another problem that we have in today's day and age is just staying on the political topic. News. Ready and there at any second of any moment. You can see what's going on. But the problem with the modern day news and the problem with social media is that you hear so much news that you can't confirm everything. So you hear from every side, every which way, of what's actually happening. And one side might be telling the truth, but how do you know when the other side says
Back
the opposite?
in the day, it would have been, hey, I'm going to get home from work, we're going to turn on the TV, we'll see the news.
Well, not even
it's
that.
Like the one
back
source.
then, you didn't even hear about it until someone showed up to your town.
Well, I'm not talking that far back.
I am. I'm saying I think even I think the mass news, hearing about everything that's going on at all times, is actually really bad for us. I do. I do think it's bad for us because look how much anxiety everybody has. We have the most access to the most people. We can access anybody at any point in time. We can drive hours, which should take weeks to get somewhere. We can drive it in hours.
Yeah, I remember.
And we can fly over a plane, something that should take months to get to. But we can do it so quickly because of how advanced everything that we have is. But yet we have the most anxious, the most depressed, and the most loneliest generation. We do.
Yeah, I can't really argue with that.
It's the loneliest generation, yet we can talk to everybody across the world.
Yeah, you could literally talk to the person halfway across the world with
a quote
second
from
or two
Charlie
of delay.
Kirk. Quote from Charlie Kirk. We need less people, and he was talking about deportation. But he goes,
sorry, you cut yourself off at "we need less people." Oh, he was talking about deportation.
no, it's just like no. It's still applicable.
Okay.
But I'm saying he was in talking about it. But I was just giving people context of what he was talking about.
Yeah, I was
But
saying it was just a really funny time to cut yourself
said,
off.
do we need more people? They're like, we need more people in America. He goes, no, we need less strangers, more neighbors.
I like that.
And I was like, oh, I like that. Because if you think about it, like, you watch a show like Andy Griffith.
Everyone knows everyone.
Everyone knows everybody. Is that what it was like in that time? That it was the 60s that they were making that show? No. Everybody idolized that show. Everybody loved that town because it was what they wanted for their town. They wanted a small town where everybody knew each other. That's why Cheers in the 80s and the 70s and 80s did so well. Was the theme song was literally where everybody knows your name. No, it's the 60s and 70s. Whatever. The song was, you want to go where everybody knows your name. You want to be where everybody
I think there's an element of that in MASH too, because it's this kind of the small community of people doing the same, going after the same kind of like comrades in arms, like trying to help individuals in their area, but it's still a small group in a localized area.
Yeah, and so it's like Americans, we've gotten so obsessed with our phones and with culture and with media and with everywhere that we've lost our own culture, we've lost our own media, and we've lost our own people. We don't know who neighbors are. I've got people right next door to my house and I don't even know their names. I've got people that live down the road. I've got people that work with me that I don't even know their names. Yet I can tell you some famous names of people I will never meet, nor do I even care to. Like, I could tell you the name of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Mark Hamill. Like,
I was originally going to say as a joke Charlie Kirk, and then I realized no, actually we will meet him.
we'll see him. But like, we know the names of people we'll never meet. And you know, if you pursue Christ, and he was pursuing Christ, and he was still alive, you might have met Charlie Kirk. But, you know, like, you might meet these people, or you might not. But like, when you do meet a celebrity, do you go, oh my goodness, I know you? Because you've seen everything about them on social media? No. You don't know anything about them.
That's kind of why everyone's like, don't meet your heroes, because you think you know someone online, but the problem is they're putting kind of like, especially with the celebrities, it's the face they put on. That isn't necessarily the actual person. There are very few instances where the actual person is the celebrity, but usually a celebrity is like the best of them, and it's a fake person, and you actually get to know someone and you go, you're not the person I thought you were.
Yeah, and there's some interesting celebrities out there, like someone whom I've been told was a pretty cool guy to run into randomly on the side of the street is Adam Sandler.
Also,
because he, like, on TV, he acts all goofy. And
what's the guy from Cyberpunk?
I don't know.
Your breathtaking guy.
I don't know.
I've heard he's also a really cool dude to run into.
But I've been told Adam Sandler's pretty cool and chill because he's just like a normal dude. He walks around in sweatpants and a shirt because he's like, why do I need to dress up? And then apparently he went to a restaurant and the person was like, oh, no, sorry, we don't have a reservation for you. And so he left. And because they were going to take 45 minutes, and people were like, he left because how dare that they not? And he was like, he got mad at the people that insulted the restaurant. He was like, no, like I showed up and they didn't have that, and so I
shouldn't get special treatment just because
I shouldn't get special treatment because I'm famous. And it's like, yeah, that's true. Like if you own a restaurant and you show up, then that's a different story. Like,
or if you actually had a reservation in there.
Or if you actually had a reservation, that's a different story, right? But like, just because you're famous doesn't mean like, yeah, they just went somewhere else to eat, and that's fine. They can do that. That doesn't, just because they're inconvenienced, But we have this culture where we know people. You can walk up to somebody and ask them who our first president was, and they probably, like, there's a 50-50 chance they know anymore.
The terrifying part is when we're talking about that, we're talking about, like, you go to the college campus near us.
Yeah, and you talk about the first president. Who is the first president? And it's a 50-50 chance they'll know it was George Washington.
I was going to say, you and I both know it was George Washington.
Yeah.
But we have 100%.
As a joke, I almost said Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, my gosh.
As a joke, I almost did. But if you ask them who the Kardashians are, they could probably tell you who they are.
That I could not. I don't
know who the heck they are. I just know one's named Kim.
Same.
But
I also know more than I'd like to about that person, but we're not going to talk about that.
I don't know anything about her. I just know that her name is Kim.
Fair enough.
But like if I were to ask you about a voice actor who played in your favorite video game, there's a high chance you probably know who it is, depending on whether or not you enjoyed it and if you liked their work, right? And you can recognize their voice instantly. But if you meet someone who lives 5 feet, who you see on a regular basis, but you don't really get a chance you don't actually take the chance to get to know them, you'll hear that voice and you won't even recognize them. And you don't even know them, but they live right across the road from you.
Yeah.
We have a nation full of strangers.
Which I think is really interesting because one of the things Christ says is love your neighbor as yourself. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should get back to focusing on the literal interpretation of this because, like you said, we don't even know who our neighbors are.
Yeah, and when they were like, who is our neighbor? And he goes, well, there was a man who was, it was a Levite, and he was beaten on the side of the road and robbed, and they took everything, and he was lying there naked on the side of the road. And a Levite comes by and sees him. Another Jew comes by and sees him. And they both keep walking. And then a Samaritan comes by. Someone who is their enemy. They hated them. For our context of today, their hatred would be like those who cheered on Charlie Kirk's death. Those people on that far of the left.
That would be like if I'm
versus those people that are on that far of the right. That's how much they hated each other.
Yeah. Like if I was sitting in a ditch dying and someone from the super far left.
Yeah, and let's say you were wearing a MAGA hat. So they knew that you were, because the Samaritan knew that it was a Jew. Yeah. The Samaritan knew that it was a Israelite. They knew that they were not the same.
Yeah.
But yet, they knew they weren't a Jew. They knew that they were a Jew. So it'd be like you wearing a MAGA hat and someone coming by wearing a Trump's a Nazi.
With a full, like, gay rainbow.
Yeah, like they have this whole outfit and they see you. And they go, oh no. And they come down, they pick you up, they take you to the hospital, and they tend to you, they pay for everything you need. That's what it would be like. Or put it in the reverse for those who are like, well, that would never happen. Well, what? So
I was going to say that.
Maybe it would. Maybe it would happen.
There's a chance, but a very low chance.
But that's the point of the thing. That's the point of the Good Samaritan story. Is like the chance of a Samaritan doing that in the Israelites' eyes were so teeny. There's no way a Samaritan would do that. And yet we say the same thing about people that are on the left.
I can't disagree with that.
And he's like, who is your neighbor? And they go, the ones who showed mercy. He's like, yes. And so the person they saw as a mortal enemy was actually the one that showed love when the people that actually went by and actually were on that person's side. They were Jews and Levites, and they just walked right by. Be like people walking by, seeing you wearing your MAGA hat, seeing all that, and going,
and they're wearing
he's
MAGA
probably
hat
okay.
and such.
Yeah,
yeah,
and they keep walking.
That's an interesting way of putting it in the modern perspective. I had not thought about that.
Yeah. So who is our neighbor?
It's a bit convicting, actually. Now that I think about it,
we don't know how to love each other.
Yeah. Who is my neighbor? It's literally like the person who I would least expect it to be.
Yeah.
And everyone in between.
Yeah. And I was watching this thing with Calvin Robinson. That's his name. Calvin Robinson. I knew I had a Robin something. And he's the one that had the 12-minute speech to the Anglican Church about acceptance and tolerance and how we should not be, because Christ sat with the sinners, sat with those people around him, but they walked away changed and not him. And he goes, people say God is love, or we need to just be loving, we need to just be loving. And he goes, people misuse this term because, yes, God is love, but he sets the terms and not us.
Yeah, that's the one thing everyone says, you don't love someone. No, I do. The problem is your definition of love and my definition of love are two very different things.
The question is, do you? Even with our definition of love, do we?
That is a valid question.
Do we? Because our definition of love, I'm pulling it out right now in the book of the amazing scriptures that God has blessed us with, says this.
I'm assuming it's going to be
love is patient and kind. Love is does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes in all things, hopes in all things, endures in all things. Love never ends. And yet, we see something that triggers us online and we think about it for weeks.
I think the most interesting, when we're talking about the context that we just were, is love does not insist on its own way.
Yeah.
And so when we talk about, like, you know, we want to see people come to Christ, at the same time, we can't force it. We can't make them do anything. I'm going to tell you everything. I'm going to give you all the puzzle pieces. It's your choice whether you want to put the puzzle together or not.
Yeah, that's why God gives us the choice. That's why he gives us free will in the first place. Because he doesn't want robots. He wants people that actually love him.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't love us if he insisted that we do what he did. But instead he says, I want you.
Well, we also wouldn't be loving him.
If we insisted that he did what we didn't want to do?
If he was to force us to do it. Because
exactly, that's my point. Like,
well, you said he wouldn't love us.
Yes, because he wouldn't be loving, because that would be him insisting on his own way.
You're right.
And so therefore it doesn't even matter, because we can't love without his love. We can love because he loves. Mm-hmm. But like, he sets the terms, we don't. And like, are we truly loving? Are we truly patient and kind? I hate the word nice. I hate the word nice. I'm gonna be pulled out of context if this ever goes public, just like Charlie Kirk was when he said he doesn't like the word empathy.
Oh no.
But I hate the word nice because everybody says nice when what they mean is they want someone who tells them what they want to hear and does what they want them to do. They don't want someone who even... It's kind to tell someone to get out of drugs. It's kind to tell someone to get up and work out. It's kind to tell someone, hey, you're gonna die if you drink this poison. It's kind to tell someone you're gonna go to hell unless you choose for Christ. It's kind to say,
hey, the bridge is out.
Yeah, it's kind to say the bridge is out. Nice would be, I don't want to tell you because I don't want to make it uncomfortable. I just got to make everybody around me
That's kind of how the society is now. Is like we try to tell them, hey, the bridge is out. You're gonna walk on and you're gonna fall to your death. And they go, don't tell me what I can and can't do. And
they're welcome to say that.
The
they can and they're welcome to say that.
But I'm saying how silly it is.
But now what they say is you say the bridge is out. And they go, how? They're like, that's not. You're supposed to be nice. How dare you tell me something That's not nice.
It never says love is nice.
And that's my point.
It never says love is nice. It says love is...
Kind is not specifically words. Kind is also action.
Well, love is action, too.
Yes, love is very much action. He says, do not love in word and talk, but in deed and truth.
Yeah. In truth.
Yeah, let us not love in word and talk, but in deed and truth.
And I think that's also the reason people always use the word, oh, well, this is my truth. By definition, there is only one truth, because something can't be 20 inches wide and 10 inches wide. It can only be one or the other.
Mm-hmm. But it's interesting because it's like, yeah, we have such a distant people. We don't know who our neighbors are. We don't know how to love. And I'm included in this. I'm including myself in this when I say this. We don't know how to love. And when it comes to the fear that we have for the Lord, we either have terror, or we're genuinely afraid of him, or we have people who have no fear of him at all. You don't get the biblical fear of the Lord anymore, where people have a genuine awe and reverence to, are you going to fly into the sun or run into a burning building? Would you run into a burning building dressed the way you are right now? Which, by the way, you guys, he's wearing a polo and some jeans. Would you run into
You're basically wearing the same thing.
I am. Well, no. I'm wearing
polo.
I'm wearing just a t-shirt and some jeans. Would you run into a burning building that dressed the way you are?
Depends.
No, just any situation. Any situation where the building is on fire. The whole building is on fire. Are you going to go into there?
Probably not.
Why?
Because I will die.
Why?
Because I can't. Because the flames are hot.
The flames are hot. See, God is the same way. You need...
My brain translated that a different way.
You can't go to the sun unless you have, a protective suit. And you can't go into a fire unless you have a protective suit. And that suit for us is the garments that Christ dresses us in. Christ gives us garments that are made of pure white. That are they make us holy and righteous. Our garments are dirty and rotten rags. If we're sticking to the fire analogy, they're covered in gasoline. It's like us running into a fire dressed in a suit of gasoline. That's what it is. The fire's going to cook you and burn you. That's the fear we ought to...
laughing at that analogy. I'm sorry.
That's the fear we ought to have in God, is that not that we're going to burn if we don't repent, which, that's just... It's not because he wants to kill you. It's not because he wants to burn you. It's because that's your choice you've made. Because he gives you that choice. Choose this day whom you will serve. Mm-hmm. You get to choose which path you're going to do. Are you going to choose for Christ, or are you going to choose not for Christ? But the fear of God is God is just. God is true. And he, in his justice, has to punish. Has to discipline. That's why they ended up in Babylon for 70 years. The Israelites. They ended up in Babylon for 70 years because they disobeyed. And if he didn't do something about it, he wouldn't be just. But he's also compassionate and merciful, and that's why Jesus comes in that he died and took our place. And so, we should have a fear of God, but it should be a fear of God in, that it's dangerous, but it's not dangerous because it's bad. The sun isn't bad.
But it's dangerous in the sense of you're going to get, if you get close, you're going to die.
If you don't put on sunscreen, it will burn you. If you don't get protection, Moses' face would glow after he spent time with God. And then the Israelites would panic because his face was glowing. And so he would veil his face. And Paul says, hey, we're not going to veil our faces. We're not going to veil our faces. We're not going to hide the light that God has put inside of us. And Stephen's face glowed right before he was killed. And so it's if you go into the sun without protection, you're gonna burn. And if you go into Christ, if you go to try to be in the presence of God without protection of Christ, you're gonna burn.
If you want to get to the Father, put on sunscreen.
Okay.
Sorry. The thing leading up for that was too good.
You're going to make a t-shirt with that on it?
Put
I wear sunscreen
Oh, gosh.
with a cross on the
That
bottom.
probably would be fun. I would wear that, actually.
You'd wear that?
Would you wear that?
I don't know if I would wear it, but like have a bottle of sunscreen with a cross on it that says I wear sunscreen.
SON screen? Yes, I probably would wear that.
You'd wear that?
That's our that'll be the first part of Curiosity merch. I wear sunscreen.
Yeah, like that's the problem is we don't know who neighbors are and we don't know what love is.
Yeah.
And we don't know what justice is.
So now that we've talked about this, I think it'll be interesting because the next point is something we talked about.
Yeah.
And also gives us interesting. So going to the next piece of news that happened a couple weeks ago now.
Moving on from Charlie Kirk
to other tragedy. There was the Mormon Church in Blanc, Michigan. It had an attacker who drove I think it was a truck through the front door, shot up a bunch of people, which I don't know how many people got hurt, and then burned down the entire building. And my what I wrote in my notes is, as Christians, how do we approach a tragedy like this given the heretical nature of the people in question? And can we support like this in any way? Like can we help them monetarily or anything like that? Like, that's my question. Like,
question for you. When does heresy remove our love?
Never.
And so the question is like, we hear about these tragedies. We should mourn. Whether you disagree with somebody or whether you agree with them, especially when, like the Mormons, yeah, they don't believe that Jesus is, like, God. They believe that he's the brother of Lucifer. They believe he's a God. And that he's the brother of Lucifer.
Very heretical.
But just because they have heresy doesn't mean we need to remove the love we have for the people. You know?
Doesn't mean we accept the heresy.
Like the Good Samaritan.
Yeah.
Like the Good Samaritan, our response, if we're looking at that, how did the Good Samaritan respond?
Good Samaritan took the person and paid for his entire medical bill and housing while he was getting better.
So if we want to truly win them to Christ, because we feel that they are not won to Christ, how do we respond to that? Now, I'm not saying to pay for their building to get put back together. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying we pay for their temple to be rebuilt or their church to be rebuilt. What I do say is, if there is anyone that you know who is part of that, if you're listening to this and you know anyone that was involved in that and you're a Christian and you're struggling with this, help pay for their medical needs. Help pay for their financial needs. Help pay them. Don't pay for their church to be rebuilt.
Yeah,
if pagans have their temple destroyed, we don't pay to have their gods remade.
That would be bad.
We don't pay for their gods to be remade. But we can still help them in where they're at.
Yeah.
You know, like, we don't pay for them to rebuild the place that they meet. Like, we don't have to do that. But how are you going to win people to Christ if you see tragedy all around you and you just go, eh? What was today's chapter of Matthew, real quick? I'm curious. I'm on a Bible reading plan.
Is it the same one as the church?
Yeah, it's the same one as the church because they have us reading it in the youth group. Oh, it was Matthew chapter 24. So I'm going to go to Matthew chapter 24 real quick because there's a passage in it that I think is very relevant to what we're talking about right now. And he's talking about when the temple was destroyed. Right? All right. And he talks about the abomination of desolation and all those things, right? But here it is. Then they will deliver you up to tribulation and put you to death, and you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake. And then many will fall away and betray one another and hate one another, and many false prophets will arise and lead many astray. Because, and he goes before that, he goes, there's many that will come saying, I am the Christ, and they will lead many astray. And you hear wars and rumors and wars, which we're seeing now. And see that you are not alarmed, for this must take place. But the end is not yet. For the nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are but the beginning of the birth pains. Then he says, the part that I just read, then they will deliver you over to tribulation. And he goes, and many false prophets will arise and lead many astray. And because lawlessness will be increased, the love of many will grow cold. But the one who endures to the end will be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom, will be proclaimed throughout the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then to the end to come. Because of lawlessness will be increased, the love of many will grow cold. We can't let our love grow cold because of all the lawlessness we see.
Yeah.
Because even Jesus, as he's hanging on the cross, says, forgive them, Father, for they do not know what they are doing.
He was still thinking of others when even at his worst.
He's literally in immense pain. He had been whipped, beaten, to the point where you couldn't even recognize that he was human. And he says, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they were doing. And then Stephen, as he's being stoned, says, God, do not hold this sin against them. Because they don't know what they're doing. Don't hold this against them. Our response needs to be like that of the Good Samaritan, who, though they disagreed, took care of him and paid for everything he needed. That is how we ought to be. We don't look at an us versus them. We just see people that are made in the image of God. Because as James says, when he's talking about the taming of the tongue, says, from the same mouth comes blessing.
Oh my gosh.
Blessing and cursing. Because my brothers, these things ought not to be so. It's like we bless our Lord and Father. With the same mouth, we bless our Lord and Father.
And we curse those around us.
And we curse those that are made in the likeness of God. Now, I don't want people that are listening to this to get a bad idea, because I'm not saying everyone's the children of God, because I disagree with that. I think that's wrong. I think we're not all children of God. Those who God adopts as his children are his children. But we are all made in the likeness of God. And we all bear the image of God. And therefore, because we're all made in the likeness of God, we ought to treat those as though they're made in the likeness of God.
Yeah.
But how are you going to win anyone over? Like, that's why the church is having such a hard time winning people. It's because we're full of hypocrites. And we don't know how to love even our enemies.
We're comfortable sitting in our own little box and just being like, yeah.
Yeah, our love has gone cold. Jesus says, they will know you are my people. You'll know you're my disciples by the way that you love each other. And oftentimes we have a hard time even loving each other.
Yeah, we do.
Like, we need to get over our grievances. He says, if anyone offends you, forgive them. Forgiving one another as God in Christ forgave you. It's a hard lesson to do.
It's hard to forgive.
It is hard to forgive. But do you forgive for their sake? Partly. But you really forgive for your sake. It's not for Christ's sake that you're forgiving. It's for your own. You forgive as God in Christ forgave you. You forgive because he forgave you. But like the master who forgave his servant all of his debt, what happens next? That servant went and beat the other servant and said, pay me what you owe. And what did the master do? He said, throw him in jail with his entire family until he can pay me back what he already owed me and more. Because he did not treat the one that owed him money the same way in which I treated him.
Sorry for how quiet I've been. It's just me kind of listening.
Sorry. I didn't mean to start preaching, but
no, that's perfectly fine. If you feel that's where you need to go, then that's where we go.
The Mormons, we disagree with them on a lot when it comes to doctrine.
I wouldn't even consider them Christian, just flat out.
Yeah, but that's my point exactly. Even more so, if you don't see them even as Christians, which I don't either, shows us even more reason why we need to love them in the situation that they're in.
Because we want to bring them to the truth.
Yeah. It says you will win them over by the love that you have. That's what it says in Romans. Paul says you'll win them over by your love. Imagine all these people that say that they're Christians. And all these people that they're Mormons, but they believe that they're Latter-day Saints. They believe that they believe that they're Christians, right? And then all these people around them,
they do believe that they're Mormons.
They believe that they're Christians, right? And there's all these people around them who say they're Christians too, but when their place burns down and people are shot up and someone drove through their thing, shot up people and burned their place down, we have a similar reaction to Charlie Kirk's killers?
That's... I mean, I didn't personally, but I can definitely see there's people that have...
I don't know that we did have that reaction, but I'm saying if that's our reaction... Or, let's say the people that everybody got mad about. The pastors that didn't even mention the fact that Charlie Kirk was killed. So many people got frustrated with that. And they're like, I'm leaving my church because my pastor didn't mention the fact that Charlie Kirk was killed on Sunday morning or speak into that situation.
I don't know why there's no requirement that says they have to.
No, but there's many people that said that. There are many people that said they're going to leave their church.
Yeah.
And then they go, if anyone doesn't speak out, this is wrong. And yet something like this happens to non-believers, and we say nothing.
We're just like Nelson from The Simpsons, just laughing, going, ha ha.
We're not even necessarily that. Some of us are, but some of us are just going, okay. So, yet when Charlie Kirk got killed and people said, so, we outraged.
We should be outraged. We should be outraged when it's not.
We should be outraged at this Mormon thing. This thing that's
It's just as much an atrocity.
Because...
Actually, no, it's more... I would say it's more of an atrocity.
Because Charlie Kirk was a believer.
Well, not just because Charlie Kirk was a believer. Charlie Kirk was one person. We're talking about an entire church of people being attacked.
But also, though, he was a believer, and we believe that he is going to heaven. We don't know where these other people are going.
This is true.
That should add even more of a sorrow to us. That's grievance. That's the word. Should add more of like a weeping to us. Is that we don't know. They might be in heaven. They might have known Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. We don't know. But let's talk about those Mormons for a second. I know more Mormons that run around and help people out than I do Christians. You can see a group of Mormons. It's easier to find a group of Mormons that are outside with their little badges evangelizing
than a Christian.
Than you see groups of Christians. Now, part of that is that they dress a very distinctive way, so you can always tell where they're at. So you might have a group of Christians that are doing the same, you just don't even realize it. And maybe their method of evangelism isn't necessarily the greatest. I don't think going door to door is the greatest idea. And they're also doing it based on a works-based, usually, in that they have to do whatever they can to be saved, and so they have to do that in order to be saved. Like, or they have to participate in that, otherwise they're not part of the church, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, we're also getting into their theology a little bit, which is a little off topic.
But it's on the topic of them being dead, and your question was regarding to heresy. Your question was regarding to heresy. So even though they believe that stuff, like, we oftentimes seeing them act in the same way that Samaritan was. Would they do that? Would they pull you over? The question isn't necessarily would they do that, but would you do that for them? If you saw a Mormon on the side of the road, would you
stop and help?
And I reckon that that's how we have to approach every single political situation that we have today. We need to look at it and through a lens of not them versus us, but rather, what does the Scripture say? Now, what does the Scripture say is a very important thing when it comes to things that aren't tragedies. But when it comes to tragedies, our response needs to be, do we build the church back up? Do we build their Mormon church? No. That's like going in, that's like, for us, that's like a pagan building being destroyed and all their altars being broken.
Yeah, we might as well.
And we say, here's all our gold, build yourself a new cow.
That would be... I get the reference, but that is kind
of...
Yeah,
it's like one of the kings of Israel went through and destroyed all the priests. Smashed all their altars. And then burned their priests who were offering horrible... They were offering people as sacrifices. And so he goes in and he kills them and he bashes their stuff to dust. And God's response to this is it's like, yeah, but like the people's response to that, if we were to be in that, would be like, hey, let us build up your cow. Let's put the gold together and let's rebuild you some new cows.
That'd be ridiculous.
That'd be ridiculous.
That'd be us taking part in the entire thing.
But instead, if we were to say, hey, Christ says that we ought to love everyone. Therefore, we will help you get food.
Yeah, let's love in deed and in truth, and not.
Let's help you with your fact that you need food. Let's help with the fact that you need clothing. You've seen a horrible tragedy. Let's talk about that. Let's get you some help mentally. Let's help those who grieve. Let's grieve with them. But let us show them love to win them over. Not saying that they're like us. Not saying, hey, you're just like us, therefore we're going to comfort you. But say Christ has called us to comfort everyone.
Yeah.
Christ has called us to love everyone. Therefore, we're going to love you. But that doesn't mean we think we're the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I kind of feel like a yes man over here. Just like,
no,
yeah,
you go ahead. You interject now. I'll stop talking for a minute.
No, I don't really have anything to say. Like, I agree with everything you said. I have no reason to interject with anything because it's like, no, I totally agree because every step makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't.
What's your thoughts on the Mormon thing?
I didn't know if I had any. I mean, the obvious was like we talked a little about it.
Being raw and real, what was your real initial reaction to it?
Being what?
Honest and raw and real, like being truthful to how we actually felt, rather than being like, yeah, I wanted to say what you said.
Yeah.
Like, how was our actual response?
Our actual response?
What was our real initial response?
Weirdly enough, it kind of comes in meme terms. Oh no. Anyway. Like, yeah, okay, that happened. Moving on.
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, you're right. That's not how it should be. We should be...
We should start praying for them. We should... That's what my point was about the news, is we have so much news that we just scroll past things, and we just keep scrolling, and we just see this and 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 this.
I think part of the issue is the fact that if we saw everything and we prayed for everything, there's a good chance that even if we just spend a few seconds praying about something, we could be there for hours praying about everything we see every day.
Yeah, and so that's part of the problem with having such...
It's information overload.
It's information overload.
So speaking of the... on a similar... if you don't mind me pivoting to something here... my next note was a different piece of news, more recent, finally. Hamas/Gaza and Israel came to a peace deal this week.
They came to a peace deal?
From what I've heard, at least. So now that the conflict is supposedly finally over in that area, for however long it ends up being over for, what are our thoughts on that? We could talk about the October 7th stuff like we were talking about before. We could talk about...
No, what's the real question behind it? Like,
I didn't really have any notes for this one, because this was one of the ones my dad suggested.
I hadn't heard about this. Well, if they truly did come to a peace deal, praise God.
Yeah. one of the things is it seems a very polar, like, or bipolar. There's kind of you're either for Hamas and Gaza being in the, free Palestine, or you're for pro-Israel.
Yeah.
I would say, personally, I sit somewhere in the middle, because I understand both arguments. First of all, Christian, I know it was prophesied that Israel would get their land back, would get their own country back. That happened in 1948. And, I mean, land takeovers happen all the time. Like, just historically speaking. Like, it's only like the last century or two where everything's been more stabilized. And people haven't really been claiming land,
Yeah.
And it kind of makes me think, like, yeah, okay, all the Free Palestine stuff. I have no problem with, like, okay, you have your little area you can live in, fine. Necessarily. It's more... But then also there's the actual different countries fighting each other. Like, first, let's be honest. Hamas did not need to attack Israel. There was no need for that. They were in their own little piece of land. Technically, it's owned by Israel, if I'm not mistaken. The Gaza Strip.
Not sure. I don't know enough about it.
I don't personally either. I think it's controlled by Israel. I think it's like a subsidy or something. So, what is the word? Subsidiary or something?
I don't know. I don't know enough about it.
They're like, oh, we should be free. Which I don't, maybe. But I don't quite understand. Like, it's very much a religious thing that Hamas attacked Israel, I think, personally. Because if I'm not mistaken, Hamas is very much on the Islamic bus. And if you know anything about Islam, you know that it is a religion of dominate or be dominated. And there is no one...
Well, they also hate Jews.
Particularly. But it's something that they hate all religion. Other religions. They hate all other religions.
No,
Jews in particular. But
they really hate Jews.
Yeah.
But
like, they're conquer or be conquered, pretty much. There's no in between. So when they attacked Israel, that was a tragedy. That was awful. It was just slaughter of civilians. I can't say Israel is innocent in all of this, because Israel has done some pretty bad things in retaliation too. I mean, it doesn't help that Hamas is hiding themselves in hospitals and such, and basically using the citizens of their area as a human meat shields.
Which is a break in the Geneva Convention, but...
Geneva suggestion. But anyway, let's be honest, that's what it is. You can make a rule. If someone doesn't want to follow it, the only people who can enforce it are the other people.
That's
history's written by the victors, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, Israel's done some bad things. Hamas has done some bad things. I'm just glad to see it hopefully over. I don't know how long it'll last, because it's Hamas we're talking about.
Yeah, and it might last a long time. It might not last at all. Which, we should be praying for peace to happen. But, I guess the question is, like, how's the wars going on in Nigeria?
Ooh, that's one I didn't think to put in this.
No, but how are they going?
I don't know. I haven't heard about that one.
Okay, but how's the war going on with Israel-Hamas?
We were just talking about it.
I know, but my point is, like, everybody for some reason has been hyper fixated on these two.
On the Middle East as opposed to everything else.
Everywhere else.
The only people I've ever heard talking about Nigeria would be CBN.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you follow them or not.
Occasionally. CBN, Christian Broadcast Network.
Yeah.
Which I used to think was CBS because it was Christian Broadcast Station is what I thought it was.
Definitely not.
Not the case. Not the case. I didn't watch CBS. I just thought that's what I just kept calling it CBS and not CBN. Or CNN, Christian Network Nation Network. But I was like, nope, that's not the case. That is not the case.
Clinton is we're not going there either.
But, like, we care so deeply, and we should care deeply when there's horrible things happening around, but like we care so deeply about everywhere else. No, we fixate on specific things and then come to conclusions. Like look back on World War II, right? Should America have gotten involved in World War II?
Yes. I think we should have 100% gotten involved.
Okay, and World War I, should we have gotten involved?
Well, so why we got involved.
Yeah.
Because we didn't want to be a part of World War II. We didn't want to be a part of World War I. Both times, our hand was forced.
Mm-hmm.
Because in World War I, I think it was the Lusitania was like our last straw. And that ship was sunk. I think that's what our turning point was. World War II was, we're supplying our allies. That's what you do, even if you're a neutral nation. Like, I think, wasn't Switzerland a neutral nation in World War II?
I don't know.
Gosh, we have to add Chad to this now.
No,
but
my point with bringing up those two is like,
we
let's say Hitler was willing to, and I'm not saying Hamas is Hitler, so people that hear that don't think I'm making that comparison. I'm just using somebody, and let's say you're thinking of Netanyahu, right, as Hitler. Let's say you think of him. Let's say others think of Hamas as Hitler, right? Let's just use him as an example real quick. What if he was willing to sign a peace treaty? Would we have signed it?
Yes, we would have.
Okay, what if he wanted to keep doing what he was doing, but wanted to sign a peace treaty?
No. We would have been unconditional surrender.
What?
We would have been unconditional surrender.
So I think that's how it has to be with this.
With Israel-Hamas?
Yeah. That, like, hey, you guys can keep being yourselves over there, but, like, you have to surrender yourself. One of the sides has to. Now, if Israel lays down its arms, what's most likely going to happen?
Hamas is going to just steamroll them.
And if Hamas lays down its arms, what's most likely going to happen?
Israel's going to steamroll them.
Is that what's going to happen? Because they didn't for a long time.
In this case, no. I think the deal here, I don't know the specifics. You know what? I'm actually going to... You go ahead and give any more thoughts you have.
I'm just saying, like, I think if Israel... I think they both need to quit shooting at each other, right?
No crap.
I mean, yeah. But I think they all need Jesus.
Amen to that.
And they all need to repent and turn to the Lord. Because truly, that's the only way anything's going to change.
Yeah. So I believe right now it's phase 1 of the peace deal. From what I can see, it looks like.
Gotcha.
It's organized by Trump, so it's a third party.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Hamas is releasing hostages, and they're starting a ceasefire.
Okay. Which has happened before.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's going to fully, Hamas or Israel can always go back on it. I'm not going to say one or the other.
I've seen the guy that was the son of one of the people that started the Hamas. Have you seen him?
Not that I can think of.
Oh, there's a guy who's the child of someone who started Hamas. And he became a believer. And
Hallelujah.
And left Hamas. And he what he said is basically, this is a holy war, in their opinion.
Yeah.
Like, Hamas, like, it's full of people that see the Jews as people that need to be destroyed.
Yeah, it's not a political war, it's a religious war.
Yeah, and he goes...
I think that's what people... sorry, you can go and finish.
Well, I was just saying that, like, he was talking about how Hamas is going to keep doing this. Like, it's going to keep trying to kill them. It's going to... Until they're gone, it's going to. He's like, Hamas itself, as an organization, needs to be gone.
Yeah.
Because it's full of people, they want to kill him. The guy's own son, he wants to kill him. He says he's not his son, and he's open as a target to anybody. He has told them, his people, that. Because they don't care. If you don't go align with them, then in their eyes you're dead.
Welcome to Islam, in a nutshell.
Yeah, but not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
If we ever did a week on, or ever did a podcast week on different religions, we could talk about that. But
yeah,
that's
at least be mentioned a little bit, just because that's the core of Hamas.
I mean, we also did with the Mormons as well.
Yeah,
but they hate Jews because they think that the land that they're on is actually theirs.
Which is hilarious because the Islam didn't exist until after.
Yeah.
Christianity, if anything, has more claim to that land than...
Yeah.
Because they were
Christ
first.
Was crucified there, yeah.
Was first. It's...
The original Christians were Jews.
It's a really funny argument. And that's the thing I think a lot of people miss about this Hamas-Israel war. It's not a war of politics. It's a war of religion.
Yeah.
And and that's where everyone seems to make the mistake, because over here, a lot of our politics aren't necessarily from religion. They're just opinion, basically. That's kind of how it's become. Mm-hmm. So that's why you see a bunch of actually, that makes a lot of sense. That's why you see a lot of the leftists on the side of Palestine. Mm-hmm. And even the impossibility of the thing of queers for Palestine. Do you remember that?
That was quite funny.
It's still quite funny because it's still a thing. But the problem is it's a religious war. It's a war of religion. And the religion that they're supporting, hilariously, would stone them the instant they met them. Mm. The funniest part to me is that these people, there were actually queers for Palestine that went over there, mm-hmm. or found people and were talking to them, and the Islamists or Hamas or whatever are we don't want your support. Get the frick out of here. Mm-hmm. It's really funny. They for some reason they think the only reason they're siding with these people is because the people over here that are on the left hate Israel. Straight up. I think that's why, because there is no other reason for them to be on the same side.
Yeah. Because
one's fighting for religion, the other is just, we don't know. But my assumption would be because it would be a hatred for Israel. Probably because we like them.
Yeah. Oh, I reckon. Started yawning. I reckon we need to kind of stay out of it as far as everybody's opinions on what should or shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Because we don't truly see what God's doing.
Yeah.
Now, if you feel called by God to go and take care of stuff over there, go and take care of stuff. If you feel called by God to go take care of people that are on the Gaza Strip, go and take care of people that are on the Gaza Strip.
If you feel called by God to go to the
Israel side.
I was just going to do a completely different thing and say, hey, if you're called by God to go to the one island off of the coast of India or whatever, that's
the one that has killed many people that have tried.
No one has ever made contact with them before, actually made contact with them before.
Yeah,
because they are always killed.
Only go if that one's truly.
Yes, I'm saying I'm not. Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Is make sure it's God.
There was a guy who said he thought God was calling him there, and even brought a Bible, and they shot at him. They hit his Bible, and he survived because they hit his Bible. But they shot arrows at him. They hit his Bible, and he survived. And then he tried again the next day and was killed.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah, and so it's make sure it's really God that's calling you, and not just.
Well, to be fair, I would classify him as a martyr because he was still doing what he thought was right.
For sure.
I'm
not saying he wasn't.
Yeah, it's very well he could have been called by God, mm-hmm. and that was just the end result of it. Because now maybe someone will be more bold to go do it.
Yeah, but
the blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church, kind of thing. Yeah. But my point is, if you're called by God to go do something, don't make sure it's God, mm-hmm. first of all. But if you know that, then don't fret doing it.
You got a dream like St. Patrick. He had a dream about Ireland that was hey, come and minister to us. Paul had a dream about people saying, true. Come and minister to us. So if you get a dream, it's come and minister to us. Go. Yeah. If the Lord is calling you.
Yes.
But St. Patrick had that dream, and then he got a bunch of training before he went. So
yeah.
Perhaps that's the route you take, or perhaps it's the Paul route where you just get up and you go.
Or spend a bunch of time in prison, then go.
Well, no, he got up and went. I'm talking about the people that he went to, and then he met.
Okay.
Yeah, he had a dream about them.
Never mind.
God wanted him to go to Rome. Well, he got to Rome.
It was a long way, but yes, he did.
Yeah. So that was prison. But the people that he appeared to in his dream, So I guess my whole point in that is if they have a peace treaty or if they don't have a peace treaty, I'm not sure how it's gonna go. But what does matter is we need to keep spreading the gospel to them.
Yes.
How can we? Here's a different question. How can we minister to the people that are on either side? How can you minister to someone who's pro-Palestine? And how can you minister to those that are pro-Israel?
I mean, pro-Israel kind of comes naturally, I think.
For you?
Well, for Christian in general.
For a lot of people. There's some Christians out there who it doesn't.
That's fair.
They're like, we're the new church, we're the new Israel.
Which, to be fair, we're
the new
kind
people.
of, sort of, are.
To an extent. There's a new Jerusalem coming, but it's in heaven at the moment. God's going to destroy all of the heavens and all the earth. And create a new heavens and a new earth. But until then, he has, Romans says, that, by election, they actually are. As far as the gospel is, they're enemies. But as far as election goes, they are loved and chosen by God.
Yeah.
Kind of like Jacob and Esau. Yeah. So.
Where was it going? I thought it was...
Sorry, how do you minister to someone who's pro-Palestine?
I mean, I would have, again, kind of sitting in that middle, I have to agree. Hey, I do think, yes, Israel has done a lot of tragedy. But it doesn't mean we should just give up Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's a travesty either way you look at it. One group is attacking another.
Yeah.
So, but both of them need Christ.
Yeah.
Because all have fallen short. That encompasses everybody in the entire world, regardless of where you come from, what you believe.
Mm-hmm. And here's a factor, though, I haven't seen people talking about when it comes to any of these situations. Is Jesus Christ the same yesterday, today, and forever?
Oh, that was a question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever.
What, Hebrews that says that?
It is Hebrews that says that. But, okay, so let's say that's true, which it is. Is Jesus the same one the same God in which called the floods upon the whole world?
Yes.
And saved one family? Noah?
Yes.
Okay. Is Jesus the same one that had them in Egypt for 400 years?
Yeah.
Is he also the same one that sent plagues to get them out?
He's the same God.
Yeah, he's the same God that set them free from Egypt through many plagues. He's the same God
that put them there in the first place.
Well, that let them be put there in the first place. But he's also the same God that sent them to Babylon. That had them come in and taken to Babylon. The same God that had them taken to Babylon. He's also the same God who delivered them from Babylon and set them free from Babylon in the first place. So with all of that thought, look through the book of Judges. The people are evil, and God allows a nation to come in and conquer them. And then they rise up and take it back, And then the people are taken again because they rejected God and lived unrighteously. And then they come back and so forth and so on and so forth. Judge after judge after judge after judge. And I'm not saying God is on the side of Hamas. I'm not saying God's on the side of Israel. I don't know. But
who can know the mind of God?
Yeah. But who's to say which one is acting on the side of God? Who's to say which one is evil? Now, Hamas has done something horrible and tragic in that they went in and killed hundreds of citizens who weren't even soldiers. And they just came in and just slaughtered hundreds, if not thousands of just citizens for the sake of it. And took them hostage and raped and beat them. Now, if I were to guess, I'm guessing God's not on that one side. But at the same time, I can't necessarily say that because at one point God did use a group like that did do that kind of stuff. Not because they were going to do that kind of stuff, but because they were going to take Israel.
Yeah. Israel had already turned from God.
Yeah. But they had to see the evil in order to know where they should turn.
Yeah.
So perhaps God allowed this, not God caused this, but perhaps God allowed such evil so that they could see what they shouldn't be. You know? But at the same time, you know, perhaps Israel is taking care of Hamas because God has seen the evil that they've done. And so God is acting upon Hamas using Israel as his hand of justice. Who's to say either or? I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, who can know the mind of God?
Yeah, it's too hard of a subject. It's too hard of something that we tend to stamp with one side or the other. We tend to stamp one side, Israel right, Hamas bad. Or we stamp Israel bad, Hamas good. But I think we can say what Hamas did on October 7th was horrible.
Inexcusable.
Was evil and atrocious.
Yeah, it's flat out inexcusable. There's no reason to do that.
And hiding underneath a hospital is horrible.
Hiding underneath innocent civilians, yeah.
Hiding underneath innocent civilians is a horrible thing to do. But I guess what I'm saying, my thought in all of it is we're not over there. So we can't really speak on what's going on.
All we can see is the little bit that comes through online, and even then...
And even then, what's right and what's wrong.
How is it a doctor to show us something? Even today, I saw a video of... it was a guy, I assume in the Gaza Strip, carrying a bunch of bread, and he's like, I can finally bring bread to my family, you know? And he brings it, and then also... The problem is in the back of the video, you see that he's actually in a UN aid tent. Mm-hmm. Like he was already in a position to be able to get food for his family. Like,
yeah,
it's a doctored video. It's just they're almost certainly they're just because they can use it for their own gain. So like,
well, yeah, they play with people's minds because
exactly
they know what they know.
And that's part. That's kind of part of the issue with online, with all having such information, is because again, like you said, we can't decipher all this stream of information. What is right? What isn't? What's correct? What's false? Yeah. And it's getting even worse because now we're getting into the age of you can just make your own video. You don't even have to go film something. It can just be generated in front of you. On a computer.
I think when it comes to topics that are outside of our country, unless we're in a position where we know about what's going on, I think a lot of Christians need to shut up.
Probably us included. Well, I guess it's kind of hard to when it's this kind of topic podcast.
Well, yeah, we're talking about it, but it's like, yeah. I think we can't make statements of this is what they should do or shouldn't do unless they are. We're talking well enough.
We're talking from the position of we don't fully know.
Yeah.
This is what we can talk about because...
What I do know is they need Christ.
Yeah.
And so we should be praying that they come to the knowledge of Christ because only then will anything truly change.
Yeah.
It's like putting a cork on a bottle of champagne. Eventually, it's going to pop.
No, unless you release the pressure.
Which, again, if you release the pressure, that's you removing the cork. That's the only way to release the pressure. Is to remove the cork. So you just put a cork on a bottle of champagne. Well, eventually it's going to pop off.
Well, then what would becoming a Christian do? Turn the champagne into water?
No.
I'm just trying to figure out where this metaphor is going.
It's removing the cork and letting the pressure out.
Okay, I see. I get it.
Yeah, not doing things that are Christ-like. It's just putting a cork on the problem and hoping that it's going away instead of dealing with the situation that you're in.
Yeah.
Resealing it.
Okay. You know. I get it. I was trying to figure out where the metaphor was.
Yeah, but it's just it's eventually going to pop. Same with depression medications. You know, they don't actually usually make you not depressed or anxious. Anxiety medications, they usually just temporarily dull it, and then eventually will pop.
Speaking of, yeah.
But that's not a topic we're going to be discussing today.
I was going to say there's a topic I have there. I don't necessarily think that's not on my list for today.
Not for today. All right, what you got? A last one you said?
All right, this is the last one I have written down. If we have something else that comes up, we can talk about it afterward. This is kind of just a light little one. The U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, which its own topic, you know. Secretary of there used to be the Department of Defense. Now it's the Department of War again. Because it used to be the Department of War. Then we renamed it to Department of Defense. Now we've renamed it back to Department of War.
Well, I reckon the reason they did that is because defense isn't always accurate to what's going on with it.
Yeah.
To defend, you also sometimes have to be on the offense.
Yeah.
So
you can't always just be defensive.
Yeah.
But yeah. So U.S. Secretary of War, or just SecWar, Pete Hegseth, he recently announced and he is reinstating required physical fitness standards, like a minimum level, at all levels from the lowest private to the highest 4-star general, and all individuals. So every person, male, female, whatever, has to meet that minimum requirement for fitness. That was not a thing before. That was something that got taken away because of all the diversity, equity.
Yeah. All I say is amen. Like, not to be offensive to people, like, I'm 250 pounds.
Not more than that.
I won't. If I was in war and I saw me running in, I would be worried. Not because I'm the one running in. Because how desperate are we that we need me, who's not in the prime physical fit? And
I thought you were talking from someone else's perspective.
Yes.
Like if I was the enemy and I saw you running in, and I was like, no, I wouldn't be afraid. I'd be like, we're doing well. They're bringing in the people that suck.
No, but I'm saying from our side perspective, I'm going to be a bit worried if the prime that we have, and the best trained that we have, are people that are overweight. Or are two on the scrawny side. Either side.
And these requirements, by the way, are being instated for both those who are like the fighters, and also those who are not fighting but are like back end, like you're networking or something.
Well, in the 20s, you couldn't graduate high school unless you could do a minimum of, I think it's 20 push-ups.
Which, by the way, we should totally go back to.
Yes.
I know that's talking from us, but like,
I know, but like,
we would have been so much better off if that was a requirement.
Well, let me 20 push-ups, I think it was 5 pull-ups, and like 30 sit-ups or something like that, right? You had to be able to do all of that.
Unless for some physical reason you couldn't.
That's like you're a cripple, right?
Yeah.
You had to be able to do a bare minimum of that, which that's a bare minimum, to be able to graduate high school. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are like, well, you know, these are big guys talking about this thing. Yeah. It's harder to become no longer big
than it is to go from being...
No, it's easy to become big. It's easy to become
that's
big.
what I'm saying. It's easy to go from being
if you're taught,
small to big. It's easy. It's harder to go from being that big guy to being small.
Yeah, it's so easy to become big. But it's hard to become small. And so if you're taught from a younger age that this is what is right, this is what you should do, this is what you're supposed to do, and you're trained from a young age to be physically fit, then yeah, you're going to be physically fit.
If something's just going to be ingrained into your mind, it's going to be second nature.
Yeah, we won't need gyms everywhere.
Well, you might, because there's still people who have to do jobs that aren't necessarily in the physical.
But let's be real. Do you need to go on a treadmill, or can you go on a run for a mile?
Fair point.
You know, like you can go on walks. You can go. That gets more into our outside conversation too, like getting out. Instead of going on walks, people go to a treadmill. Instead of going on a bike ride, people get these bikes inside their houses.
Yeah.
You know?
Time for you to get rid of the bike.
No, I this is Chad's bike. It's not mine.
No, time for Chad to get rid of his bike.
No, he can keep it. Like, gyms in itself, I'm not anti-gym. Like, don't hear me saying that.
Darn you, Jim. What did you...
Yeah, I'm not
not
against gyms. Right? A lot of people have a lot of camaraderie at the gyms too.
Mothers can choose whatever name they want for their kids. Sorry, I just thought
people that are confused, he's making a play on the word gym and the name Jim, and mothers naming their kid Jim. But there's a lot of camaraderie and brotherhood at gyms. But at the same time, like, we could go out and push a boulder, or we can lift weights.
Yeah,
which we usually choose to lift weights. We can go, like, there's like my brother, he was doing he's training to be a firefighter, and he had to go up flights of stairs.
Speaking of the physical fitness requirements,
lots and lots of flights of stairs. Like, they had to go up the amount of the Twin Towers
oh my gosh,
to its full extent.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How many flights? Okay, now I'm curious.
I think it's like 20 something.
No.
It's more than that?
No, the Twin Towers is far more than that.
120, I think. Might have been 120.
No.
It was a lot. And they had to do that and back down. Up and back down.
I put in how many floors. The first autofill is word the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
I have several questions.
Yeah.
110.
110. So they had to go up 110.
Oh my gosh. That's a lot.
Yeah, up and down. Fast.
Yeah.
That's not them on a chair. That's not them in a gym on a Stairmaster. That's them running upstairs. That's them running upstairs.
And you have to do that, then turn, carrying all of whatever gear and weight you have.
Yep.
Do it again. Rinse, repeat. It's like, 110 times. Because you have to do that up, turn.
Yeah.
And do that 110 times. And then reverse that. It'd probably be easier would it be easier doing it down?
Down? No. Down's actually sometimes harder because you have all that weight pushing you down that's going to make you fall down. So you have to keep yourself up so that you don't fall down the stairs while all that weight wants to push you down.
Yeah.
And all the weight wants to pull you back. So, like, that's some physical strain. I have so much respect for my brother for being able to do that. And they have so many people that are just quitting because the requirements are so high, so hard. But would you rather somebody in the front lines be that, or would you rather it be someone who enlisted and sits on their
You're just like
bed?
Just imagine yourself like in the top floor, like a second floor.
They can't even do...
Let's assume you're just in the second floor of a burning building and you look outside, the firefighters show up, and Fat Albert steps out of the fire truck. You're like, oh gosh, I'm screwed.
Yeah, and it's like, would you rather be seeing people on the front lines who can do 100 push-ups easy?
Yeah.
Or would you rather see someone who could barely do 5?
Yeah. Probably the funniest thing that came out of this is he made these requirements. These used to be requirements. Mm-hmm. This used to be mandatory. Yeah. And because of diversity, equity, inclusion, and all that bullcrap.
And I think
bullcrap.
I think they started.
They made the requirements like, oh, women don't have to do as much, and such. And it's like, no, they should, because if you want to fight, you have to prove that you can.
Yeah, and not just women in this case, too, though. It's also
and when they reintroduced this on the 30th, because it was September 30th, he originally reintroduced this requirement as being mandatory.
Why is
everyone was up in arms. Like, oh, we can't meet this requirement. Oh, we can't do this. And like, it's ridiculous to expect women to meet the same requirements as men. And then there were literally women who were doing exactly that.
Yeah.
Meeting the requirements that the men set for. It's like, yeah, we can do this. This is no problem. So it's like, no, it's just you. Maybe you shouldn't be here in the first place. I'm not trying to be rude, but like, that's kind of that's the whole point of this, is we need to make sure that the people who are on the front lines defending the country meet the minimum requirements of this. And I think actually Gideon is a great example of that in a weird way.
The people that were fit were able to go.
Like, well, not just that, but also like, okay, we're going to test you. We're going to make you do this. And how do you do it? Do you lap up? Do you bend down and get it? Like, what are you doing to accomplish this task?
Yeah.
And like, there is biblical example of we need to defend and we need to have good people to defend. The right people. We have the right people in place for that.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't even know why it's a controversy. That's what confuses me, is why is it even considered a controversy?
Why is it controversial to have minimum fitness or mandatory universal fitness requirements for all of our military service members?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care whether you're Army, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, or friggin' National Guard. You have to meet these requirements.
Yeah, I don't know why it's considered a controversy, because it's like, guys, these people are going into actual war, and I think the reason it's such a controversy is because, again, to bring it back to all the social media and stuff, like, we are so comfortable, and we're not in war.
Yeah. Which, again, is why we were called the Department of Defense, because we weren't in war. Yeah. We didn't want to be in war.
Yeah. But they actually, a lot of times, really did want to be in war. They just said they didn't want to. A lot of people, because you know what, war makes money.
Exactly. Yeah, the profiteering.
War makes money.
War profiteering.
You sell guns. War makes money.
I say the people didn't want to be in war.
Yeah.
Companies, that's another story. That's a topic for another day.
But that being said, like, we're comfortable because we're not in war. And if we were in war, we would be probably seeing a little bit of a different thing, because people look at the military as something that they can join and participate in. Just something fun that they can participate in. I want to serve the country. That's great. That's awesome.
That's not what the military is.
Yeah. It's like...
that's what they see it. That's not how it should be.
That's like, it's, hey, stand your ground with the country. You're joining the military to protect the country.
Yeah.
If you want to serve the country, like I think women should be able to serve. If they want to serve, they can serve. Like, go for it.
But I expect you to pull the same weight as everyone else.
People get mad because they'll look at they'll look at previous wars in the past, right? And they'll be like, the women weren't allowed to join in the fight, which they were actually in World War II, I believe. I don't know about World War. They were in
specific roles.
Yeah, I don't know.
And other times it was because they were super desperate, to my knowledge.
I don't know. I don't know what they were allowed to or not allowed to help with.
There was still some societal stuff then.
Yeah,
we don't need to talk
go backwards
about that.
In that. Like, did they help with the war?
Yes,
absolutely. By being on the ground, taking care of everything that needed to be taken care of. Did the people that were conscientious objectors, who said we object to the idea of fighting and killing because our religion says we're not supposed to kill, we're against killing, and therefore we don't think we can participate in this, and they're conscientious objectors, and so they don't participate and they don't sign up and they don't fight in the war. Were they helping? Yeah, because they were staying behind and they were taking care of everything here.
Yeah, when you think of women in the war, I think what you're thinking of is, over here in the U.S., manufacturing. Women took a major role in manufacturing in the States. I'm not talking about frontline stuff.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, like, they were medical, they were on the front line, they were...
and it was very necessary.
They were the manufacturing. Like, that's where the whole, like,
now,
poster,
if the women can...
That's like the whole flex poster, like, we can do it. Like, that's where that came from, because they were the manufacturing, because all the men were at war.
Yeah. So if the women want to join in the war, they're welcome to if they can. But I do think it's wise to have a physical standard, not because I don't think they can meet it, but I think everyone should have a physical standard, and I think we should, as someone who's larger, I think there should be a physical standard on and
especially for military
school. I think there should be a physical standard on working. Hey, you want a job? That's awesome. You got to keep up a physical, because we'll have less medical problems if people stay more fit.
Yeah.
We'll have less medical problems, and therefore they'll have less insurance problems. And I think they should, hey, you could stay more fit, you could stay more healthy. Now, there's a difference between unhealthy fit and healthy fit. If you could stay at a healthy fit, where you're physically well, you don't have that many problems because you're constantly keeping your body in good shape, then I think, oh, yeah, we could pay you more because we don't have to do as high of an insurance and stuff like that. Like, rewarding people for that kind of stuff, I think, would cause more people to do it.
Maybe. I do think...
If you got paid $3 more, would you work out to... If you could be paid $3 more if you got into better shape, would you?
Yeah, probably, actually. I probably would take the time to do that.
Because you got motivation now.
Yeah. I get more money.
Yeah. That's my point.
Once a month, just check, hey, are you doing this? Are you active? How are you eating? Like,
yeah. My job has a thing where if you have to go through a biometric screening, and they check you with everything, and if you pass it all, they take $100 off your insurance.
Dang.
Yeah.
I mean, as someone who pays like $15 a month for insurance because of the insurance support stuff.
Yeah. Well, so this is like there's this like, hey, you pay for it, and it's like the plan that I got. What they do is they don't take off $100.
Do you have health insurance through your company?
Yeah, through company.
Okay, so you have okay.
I don't right now. I have it through my parents. But if I did it through my company, I could have $100 removed a month
by meeting
the physical criteria.
Nice.
That rewards me for being physically in good shape.
Yeah.
And so, like,
I do think when it comes, if I may backtrack just a little bit here, I do think it's important that we have physical standards for military because, again, you're the frontline defense. And those should be universal because if we have lighter standards for one person as opposed to another, that naturally creates divide because there's going to be the people who go, we're better because we beat the higher requirements.
Well, I mean, that was the whole thing behind, to bring up Charlie Kirk again, him saying...
all roads lead back to Charlie Kirk, apparently.
Not really. But, this is, when you're talking about DEI, that was a big topic he talked about.
Fair enough.
But he talked about, there's people misquote him about the person flying on a plane, right? He goes, if I see a black woman, like pilot, or black man pilot, whatever, it's like, I'm going to wonder if they're qualified. And a lot of people are like, oh, he's so racist. What he was saying there was actually airlines that were saying, we're going to hire by color.
Yeah.
They're like, if we're going to hire more black people. Now, that's not to say that the pilots... Now, that's not to say that the pilots weren't qualified. What he was saying in the context of that wasn't that he didn't think black people were qualified. What he was saying was he hates the fact that he has the thought.
Because...
He hated the fact that he even had the thought of, I wonder if this person is qualified, because he had that thought because they said we're going to hire based on color, right? And so that became a, if you see a woman in the war and you're told that they can't meet these physical standards, but they can, you're going to look at them and go, can they really even? You're going to be looking at them as though they can't.
Yeah.
But if you set those standards
and they're there,
they have to meet the
standards.
That tells you that women can.
Yeah.
I think it's more empowering.
I'm not saying they're going to be as strong as men ever.
No.
I'm not going to say that.
The strongest.
We know they'll at least know. They will know, and you will know that you can hold out your own.
Well, yeah, we know that men are stronger based on what we've seen with all the sports and stuff. Where men have gone, I'm a woman now, and gone and participated in their sports and kicked the women's butt. But they didn't always win first place because a lot of them were mediocre men. The best man, like the best one, is probably going to be a man. But when it comes to physical, unless it's like the most mediocre guy is not going to be stronger than the strongest women. The most mediocre man. Like, I am not stronger than the strongest women, probably. There's probably a ton of women that could kick my butt.
There's a ton of women that could kick my butt. Are you kidding?
Yeah, there's probably a ton of women that are probably way physically stronger than me. But on average, I'm physically stronger than a lot of women.
Yeah.
That being said, if these women can pass these things and get into the military, awesome.
Yeah.
And I think that's more empowering.
Power to you.
I think that's more empowering to the women to say, these criteria that you set up, I can follow it too. Like, that was the whole point of Mulan. That's why I hated the remake. Was the original one was like, they have this really high standard, and like, she's having a hard time doing it. But she gets in because she perseveres and keeps trying.
And gets there in the end.
In the new movie, it's like she's got super chi. She figured out that she's got chi, and now she can beat everybody.
Magic lady powers. Activate.
Yeah. No, it's not magic lady powers. It's like magic chi powers. And it's like she didn't work hard to earn that. And that's why I love her.
Are you saying that it was a cheat?
Yeah, it was a cheat code. The original one, it showed her working hard and actually earning that. And because of that, it's one of my favorite movies.
Mulan?
In that aspect, when it comes to like talking to women, female characters and stuff. Yeah, because it's like she doesn't just, oh, look at that, look at me now. Not like
she earned the position she was in.
She earned the position she was in. It's like when you look at the difference between like using Star Wars, right? Look at the difference between Rey and Anakin, right? Anakin is known as the most powerful Jedi like ever, right? Yet there's a vast difference in his usage of it between episode 2 and episode 3. Even episode 1 and episode 2. Because there's 10 years
of progress
between 1 and 2. And I think there's like 5 or 6 years between 2 and 3.
Yeah. He's had training. He's had practice.
He's had lots of training. He's had lots of practice. And then you go forward to when he's Darth Vader and he's literally just deflecting bullets off of his hand.
Can I be genuinely honest? I think there are people in the world that would be really good or even the best at something that have never tried that something.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, for example, I think there are a lot of people in the world who could go in and be really, 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 really good at, like, golf, for example.
Yeah.
This is a very random example, but, like, you could be good at golf, but you've never tried golf, you never had an interest to try it, therefore you're not going to.
Mm-hmm.
So, you never know.
Yeah.
There's a reason we kind of say don't knock it till you try it, because you might find out you're actually better than you think, or you actually like it more than you thought.
Yeah. But, like, yeah, no, I think it's kind of weird that it's controversy in the first place. I think they should be excited that everybody is going to be proving themselves. I think they should be excited that, hey, look at the women can actually do what the men can physically to be in the military. And now you don't have to say, we deserve a part in the war, we deserve a part in the war. You can say, look at, we deserve a part in the war.
Yeah.
Because we can physically do it. Instead of saying, we do, and never saying why, they can say, look it, we can do it too. We deserve to as well.
And I think I think putting those same, like, the same requirements on the people who are going to be your frontline soldiers as those who aren't normally going to have armament but are just, working on tech or medical or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because in wartime, there's always a chance that you get overrun, which would be Broken Arrow, which is a scary thought. Let's say you're overrun your position somehow, and now a person who is normally not in a position to fight has to fight.
Yeah.
You know that you are at the same requirement level as them.
Yeah.
So, for example, one of the things, the Marines have a saying, every man a rifleman. Every single person in the Marines knows how to operate and use a rifle.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's wise. I think it's smart, and I think they should have done it a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to exclude women. I think it's going to exclude a lot of women and exclude a lot of men.
And you know what? Honestly, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Because either you shouldn't have been there in the first place and there are people who gave you false hope, or
you slacked off and now you shouldn't be in there now.
Yeah.
Like maybe you got in because you were physically fit and then you weren't
This is a
required
mercy,
to keep it.
because let's say an actual war does break out. You don't meet the requirements you don't have the high-end requirements. You get alone on your own, you very well might be screwed.
Yeah, no, a lot of people are going to.
Like, we're actually, like, in a strange way, this is actually protective of those people.
Yeah.
Because it's saying, we don't believe you're actually going to be as good on the front line as you might think you are.
Yeah, it's a humbling thing, but it's a good thing nonetheless.
It's sort of like there was a clip I saw of a guy who was in like his frog costume in Antifa in Portland, or wherever.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was Portland. It might have been different. Might have been Illinois or something, Chicago or whatever. But either way, they were spraying mace at all the people. The officers were.
Yeah.
And the guy thought he was protected because he had the frog costume. One of them came up behind, found the air vent that brings air in and blows air in, and just sprayed directly into the air vent. It's like, yeah, you thought you were good. No, you're not.
Yeah, that's rough.
I don't know how well that worked, because I didn't really see much reaction from the guy. It seemed like he was okay. But definitely things like that happen. Like, there was another clip. It was more for fun. Some guy was in one of those inflatable costumes. Someone came up and sprayed in like the really, really nasty fart spray, like prank fart spray, into the vent. And you see he goes from being like natural position to just like, you can tell like he's physically moving around inside, like panicking, trying to get fresh air.
Yeah.
Like it's funny, but like, you know, you thought you were okay in this situation when in fact, no, you weren't going to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the requirements are important. I think it's a good thing that we're taking the people out of...
I think it's a mercy not to send everybody who thinks they're a pro Call of Duty player to the front lines.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Hey, I'm good at Call of Duty, therefore I'd be great in the war. No, we're not sending you in because you don't know what you're doing.
Call of Duty quickscoper.
I would be afraid if I saw me running in.
If I see a batch of U.S. Marines Naruto running into a situation, I'm going to run the other way because I'm fair. Not because the Marines are going to take care of it, but because we're in a bad situation.
Yeah. But anyways, to wrap everything up, we need to put Christ at the center of it, and we need to put love at the center of it. It doesn't matter who we're talking to. We need to make sure that we're doing it the way that's right. We can't be condoning the sin, and we can't be building up the sin, but we gotta combat what's bad by repaying evil with good.
Yes. Absolutely.
Do you have any last words that you want to say?
Finger, bucket, charcoal.
I like it. There's our name.
Oh, and a well-timed Chad.
All right. Want to pray us out?
I prayed to open you. You're very close.
Heavenly Father, we thank you that we're able to gather together and discuss your word and also the events that's going on. We ask that you bless everyone that hears this, and we hope and pray that it was beneficial. In Jesus' name we thank you. Amen.
Amen.